They will change the world that you live in. That's the trade treaties that are currently being negotiated secretly and fast-tracked, and the control of the internet and new draconian felonies for the internet. First, the lies. He will make 2 years of college as free and as universal as high school. But if you look beyond the headline of the White House press release, you'll see that he's only proposing 75% of the tuition be paid by the federal government. So he's lying when he says it's free. Now, of course, there's no such thing as a free lunch or a free government education unless you've never paid property taxes and never will. Anybody who has paid property taxes knows that it is by far the largest part of your local taxes. If you don't pay them directly, if you rent from someone, you're not going to see those costs, but they are in the cost of your rent. But the thing that I find most troubling is that while on the one hand, Obama is lying about a free government education, he is also taking with the other hand the middle class's education savings accounts. The government has offered the middle class a couple of ways that parents can save for their children's education. Saving after-tax dollars into an education fund, and if that fund grows in value because of the investment, the gain will not be taxed when they apply it to their children's education. Now Obama is proposing to tax those plans. They're called 529 plans, and also to end the Coverdell Education Savings Account. Now, that punishes families that save money to invest in their children's education. And most importantly, it betrays those who have worked hard, who have saved, who have relied on the government promise that the education savings would not be stolen by the tax man.
Hit pause.
This is really a
Back it up 5 seconds. I just want to point out here, the entire globalist constellation attack, the reason the police state's being put in place, because they know you're going to get angry, is they're going to take all the pension funds, all the 401ks when they're done. That's been announced. And they've done it in every other country they get control of. So that's why they want FEMA camps and SWAT teams and all of this to be expanded. But the police themselves, just like in Greece and Spain, are going to be looted. Now, when they do it, they're going to take it over and tax it at first and federalize it. But then they'll start taking pieces of it, and by the time you retire, you will get maybe 20, 30% of what you would have. This is a formula they follow. Please listen to me, okay? It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. Are we just going to lay here and take this? After tax money, they're now going to steal that? They want to run our lives, people. It isn't about getting more money to run the government. It's about getting control of everybody. The Federal Reserve used to admit its biggest problem was, quote, keeping the economy from overheating and people becoming too wealthy. And now at Davos, they lecture us on how we should become poor as they bring all their hookers with them and fly in on giant aircraft. They're a bunch of pigs. They're the real pigs, and they want us to go call the police pigs and get in fights with them so they'll hate the public and have a war with us, because if the public ever gets with the police and local government, that's it for the New World Order. Pieces of garbage. Let's go back to his report.
Now, that punishes families that save money to invest in their children's education. And most importantly, it betrays those who have worked hard, who have saved, who have relied on the government promise that the education savings would not be stolen by the tax man. This is really about punishing self-reliance and fostering a dependence on the state. And Obama has the audacity to say that he's taxing the rich, going after trust funds, helping the middle class. This is a massive betrayal of the middle class if it were to pass. These education accounts are not trust funds. The average for the accounts is $21,000. This is not a Bill Gates trust fund, and $21,000 isn't very much when you're trying to pay for college. Obama is not taking trust funds. What he is doing is betraying the trust of the middle class who thought that they would have a little bit of an opportunity to save for their children's education. But these proposals are not likely to pass. What is going to pass will change your world, whether you are working class, middle class, or rich, and not for the better. If you want to know how much Obama really cares about the middle class and the working class, look carefully at the trade agreement that he's trying to fast-track with the help of the Republicans. Huffington Post asks, is this schizophrenia, saying you're going to help the middle class while you destroy jobs by fast-tracking the TPP? No, it's not schizophrenia. It's simply a lie. But the Huffington Post and the liberal mainstream media can't bring themselves to call Obama a liar. Look at what The Guardian says without a hint of sarcasm. The Trans-Pacific Partnership is a trade agreement so significant and important, its details can't be disclosed. Are you kidding me? I guess if we knew the secret details, they'd have to kill us. Anything that is that important, that significant, needs to be transparent and debated in public. But they're not about to do that. The liberal mainstream media wants to dance around the central issue of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and that is, it's the next step in global corporate governance. Why isn't it a screaming red flag to them that no elected representatives can see the content of these secret treaties? Only multinational corporate lobbyists who are writing the treaty know what's in it. The Trans-Pacific Partnership and the Transatlantic Agreement go far beyond trade. They rewrite copyright laws globally, they affect the freedom of the internet, and they bypass our legal systems, giving special privileges to multinational corporations that neither individuals nor even domestic corporations have. Fast Track will not only rush the treaty through without public debate, it will block any and all changes to the document. Nothing should ever be passed this way. Now, the fact that the only thing we know for sure about the Trans-Pacific Partnership is what has been leaked by WikiLeaks is, I think, very telling, and the reason that Obama is going after the internet in his fourth leg of his agenda. He's calling for total internet control and draconian new felonies for the internet. It's a multi-pronged attack against internet freedom. Regulatory control by the FCC, corporations spying on you and reporting to the government, which they call CISPA, new crimes and draconian penalties for the new crimes. Remember what I just said about the education proposals where the feds would give with one hand and take with the other? Now they're telling us, well, you can have net neutrality, but that's going to come through the FCC being appointed as king of the internet, as the regulator of the internet. Now, of course, we've always had net neutrality. We didn't need the FCC for that. And the FCC has been on both sides of net neutrality. It isn't about net neutrality. Whatever you think about it, it's all about giving the FCC control of the internet, making them the regulators of the internet.
That's right.
And once they are, they can change net neutrality in a heartbeat. Then there's CISPA, Cyber Intelligence Sharing Protection Act. Every time Obama talks about the internet, he now talks about cyber intelligence sharing, especially since the Sony hack involving the interview. CISPA's primary function is to grant legal immunity to corporations that turn all of your data over to the government. Well, of course, they've been doing that for quite some time. It's not about protecting you. It's all about giving these snitches legal protection and removing your right to sue them. CISPA has been defeated twice, but the Republicans love it, and so does Obama. Now it looks like this Orwellian love child is going to be birthed. Then there's the changes to the CFAA, the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act.
We got to stop it there because I promised to go to calls. It is a very powerful report. We just retweeted it at Real Alex Jones on Twitter. Please retweet it to everyone you know. He just goes through, for radio listeners, he shows the legislation, he shows the documents, he shows the areas highlighted. First-class report. Just praise God, because all I wanted to do was find good minds, good reporters, so we could fight the globalists more, cover more issues, and we're doing that now. I kind of yell and scream and run around and get everybody's attention, and the reporters can educate everybody. And, of course, I inform and educate as well. It's just that I just believe in humanity, and I know we can beat these people. But you've got to understand how bad the New World Order is, folks. They're really evil. And I wish I wasn't right about all this. My God, I wish it wasn't real. Let's go to calls. Ron in Vermont, and Nick and others. Ron, thanks for holding her on the air.
Wow, you are on fire. Your crew is on fire. Everyone there does an excellent job. I tell you, you are channeling the Southern Baptist Reverend in you today. It's unbelievable. And I know why your crew would, crash through walls for you. God bless them all. I'd like to say something about the Matrix. If you don't think you're in the Matrix, there's something wrong with you, because if you watch that movie and you see when Neo finally gets to the end and he's talking to the guy, And, and the guy tells him, you think you're the first Neo? You're like the 70th Neo that got here. And each time, you come up with a plan to thwart us, we just write a new program. And that's what's happening decade after decade.
And that guy he talks to is the archetype of Lucifer.
It's incredible. I grew up in the 60s, and the music of the 60s, folk music, Bob Dylan, Peter, Paul, and Mary, the song Blowing in the Wind. These songs, these words changed the course of history. And now you have American Idol scooping up like the talent so they can give them contracts.
And we always knew the CIA and others came out with the new gangster rock, gangster hip-hop, gangster country, but now it's been basically declassified that it scared them so much, the real protest music of the 60s, that they came out with clones of it to just turn folks into a bunch of scum, that rebelling is becoming a criminal instead of listening to those incredible songs that are about being a human being and not being a sellout. You're absolutely right.
Humanity. You have Oprah Winfrey, she's doing so much good. Look, she's in Africa, helping all these really smart kids. Yeah, but these smart kids don't grow up to invent things for themselves. They go into, the Heritage Foundation, things that are going to imprison me later on. And I've had it. And I tell you, I'd like to ask a question. If my parent was a globalist and I'm growing up and I hear Infowars.com, God, wouldn't you want to know the truth and go back on your parents somehow? These people are sociopaths. And I can tell you this from personal experience. I sat in, unfortunately, there's some mental illness that I have to deal with in my family. And I was sitting in a NAMI group one day, with families, and all of a sudden the last person says, well, I'm not a family member. I am mentally ill, and I am a psychopath. And the hair on everybody's back of their necks stood up, because the things that he started to say was like, I'll lie. I'll do anything I need to do to get my way. I don't feel. I don't really laugh. I have no concern. I live off the fear and the emotions of other people. Basically, these people are robots. They have no humanity, and that's why they are so jealous. They want something that they can never have.
You're a powerful caller, Ron. I got to jump and get to Nick and others, but God bless you. We're going to have to go into overdrive to finish some of these calls, but I've had top psychiatrists on, the famous lady, I forget her name, that is the one that talks to all the top psychopath killers, and they say they're like robots that are really scared and have nightmares and are totally unhappy, and they only know how to manipulate, but then when they're killing someone, it's like they're possessed, and there's white light, and they feel good. That's why they want to kill. Well, they are possessed. I mean, that's what it is. They're possessed. Call it whatever you want. They are possessed. Something is filling them up. And I know somebody that grew up with the DuPonts in Pennsylvania and other areas, and they were all basically devil worshippers. And I'm going to see if I can get that person on air and tell the story, but you got that movie Foxcatcher? I mean, these people don't play games, folks. They don't play games. Devil worshippers. Outright. Stay with us. Just some overdrive.
This
I'm going to go
is
to Nick and others.
GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
In the near future.
When you realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball.
Alert. Security alert. This is Homeland Security. Analysis. Infowars building independent media operations.
Let the worst people get control and tell us that we are the ones responsible.
Prime directive. Discredit Alex Jones.
Jones is the wildly popular conspiracy theorist.
A popular conspiracy theory talk show called Infowars.
Alex Jones is now in an Austin jail.
These people are assaulting us.
Targeting of patriots engaged.
They are never going to stop. They're never going to deviate from their program until we stop them.
Block free iPhone app at Infowars.com. Block free podcast and video feed. Imperative. Destroy Prison Planet TV.
You gotta set your eye on the enemy, not worry about what propaganda they put out. Get elected. Actually, it's begun. You can feel it.